And welcome back. Let's go to line 2. Speak to Tony. How you doing, Tony?
How are you, Peter?
I'm pretty good, sir.
Have a great weekend, did you?
Pretty good, yeah. I ran a race there on Sunday, and it's always a bit of fun. But even the weather wasn't too bad, but it wasn't what you hope for the middle of July, is it, boy?
No, it was ridiculous this time of the year.
That's it, boy.
Not much to look forward, but anyway, it could be worse.
Yes, it could.
Yeah, I just phoning in about now. I hear people talking about Kevin O'Brien and the Conservatives here in his province. I mean, we've been sending 4 and 5 Liberals up anyway. The Conservatives haven't been elected here in forever.
Yeah.
But when you say about, because of Ches Crosby, I mean, it got nothing to do with Ches Crosby in a route, because, I mean, they're going to send Liberals up there again this time, I would say. And, I mean, a guy like Kevin O'Brien, I mean, you can't get a better man to fight for you. He's not afraid to speak up. He's not afraid to speak out. And if he went up there, and he would speak out for this province, and it's something we don't have much of up there now.
Well, again, even Ches Crosby, if they had said, thumbs up, way to go, great, love to have you, Ches Crosby, chances of him winning were, not 100%, that's for sure. It's his first foray, it would have been his first foray into politics, and he's got some pretty stiff competition, whether or not Scott Andrews runs as an independent, right?
Yeah, well, Scott Andrews, I think that he will run as an independent, and where he'll go afterwards, who knows. The Liberals are not going to take him back, so he won't be going there. And, I mean, when you look at, they asked Kevin O'Brien, about Ches Crosby, but, he can't answer somebody else because he don't know. It's like asking Jerry Byrne or asking any of the Liberals up there about Scott Andrews.
No.
Why they kicked him out.
No, it's not fair to him. He would possibly not know, and even if he did, I wouldn't expect him to reveal anything that the party wants to keep it to themselves. So.
And maybe Ches Crosby the one that, or whatever. It's up to him if he wants to say, or if he don't. That's not up to Kevin O'Brien.
Yeah.
And
but it's interesting, given the situation in the province, the way it's been ever since, Danny and Stephen Harper fell out, and for well-known reasons, as we know. Essentially, Stephen Harper didn't keep his word. Even given the situation, Kevin O'Brien thinks that it's a good time to run for the Conservative Party of Canada.
Well, I think it'd be a great thing to put Kevin O'Brien up there. When you look at it, yes, Stephen Harper's done a couple of things, stupid things, which from here, but
Scott Sims has been pretty solid in that riding. Clearly, he thinks that he's got what it takes to, against all the odds, come through and be successful.
Who's that,
Scott Sims will be the incumbent that Kevin O'Brien has taken on.
I don't understand the concept of this, because they're criticizing about Harper. We've sent Liberals out there for the last number of years. The majority was Liberals, 4 and 5 seats up there at a time. Mm-hmm. And when they were in power and when they weren't in power. When they were in power, they went up. They voted against us getting $2.4 billion against it. Jerry Byrne was one of the ones that voted against it. They were going to vote. You had the Liberals up there. Every one of them were going to vote against the $1.6 billion we were going to get. Even Siobhan Cody over here, who's run, she was going to vote against us getting it. And
even with all that, people disliked the Conservatives, the federal Conservatives, so much, they're still going to probably not vote any of them in.
It doesn't make sense, because, this is our own people who's voting against us, turning us down. The Coast Guards, the Liberals gutted the Coast Guards when the workers on the boats, the deck boats and everything. They gutted them out. The same thing with the jobs here.
So you think the Liberals did more against the Coast Guard and marine safety than the Conservatives?
Yes, because I turned around. They were... the deckhands went from 16 to 6. They cut them down to little or nothing.
At least we had centres open, and we had
one right now.
Coast Guard ships in operation, and
But the stuff that's going on is unbelievable, and yet we still keep sending Liberals up there. It doesn't make sense to me. To send Kevin O'Brien, to me, there would be a feather in the hat to send him up there, because he's a man who fights for the province. He's been proven all along.
Clearly, you think the Conservatives are still going to pull it out in the federal election, do you?
I think they will. I think they will.
Looking like the NDP right now, they say that the polls at the moment, not only for the party but for the leader, point to the NDP.
Yeah, there's going to be a close race there between. I think it's going to come down to the Conservatives and NDP. But at the end of
likely a minority government, perhaps.
It could be.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, and I still think that the Conservatives or PCs will pull it off here.
And you don't think that we should feel slighted at all that the party took the only candidate that came forward in the Avalon riding and said, no, not good enough?
Well, slighted, yes, but at the same time, first we got to find out why, and then, because when you're slighted,
They don't want us to know why.
But the point of the matter is, Scott Anders got kicked out of the cabinet, and Trudeau wouldn't even release why he'd done it. He said he never done nothing wrong, and he won't come out and say anything, but he got kicked out of the government, his opposition anyway. So, when you talk about slighted, you're back and forth from one to the other, so one is no better.
Well, a lot of people are sticking by Scott Andrews on that and are going to, if not support him if he runs as an independent, then certainly not vote Liberal regardless of who runs there. So they're looking for somewhere to park their vote. So there's people who are going to be certainly not voting Conservative because of the ongoing animosity between that party, or at least the perceived one between that party and this province. And, of course, there's others who are turned off completely by the Ches Crosby scenario. So it's almost coming down to either an independent situation or the NDP for a lot of folks.
Yeah, well, this is what I think you're going to probably send a lot of the NDP up to this time and less Liberals because of this. And I've talked to people, and, these are Liberals that are just not voting Liberal this time because of what Trudeau done, and they're not supporting it. And to me, Scott Anders, a lot of people, I think if he were on the NDP, I think he will have a good chance of getting in out there. Well,
right now I've heard two names, two women are interested in seeking the NDP nomination. I think it's Jenny Wright and is it Jeannie Baldwin? I stand to be correct on that. But anyway, and that list could be longer, of course, by the time that it's called. I'm not aware that it's been called. So anyway, it's going to be one of the ones to watch, no question about it.
It's going to be, yeah. But for somebody wanting to come on and criticize, Kevin O'Brien, if he had to stay in provincial politics, he would have been elected again this time. The man is well liked, and he does.
I don't know. I've been talking to people in the Gander area, and they say one of the reasons they think Kevin O'Brien is not going back for his provincial seat is that there's indication that he may not be successful this time around. A lot of people are disgruntled over certain things, and not the least of which is his statements during that pancake breakfast scenario there, where he said that the school might be, or at least the progress of it might be in jeopardy if they invite the NDP next time to the pancake breakfast.
Yeah. But I think he will get elected. I've known people who is willing to take time off to go out and
yeah, well, he's
working in the private sector. There's
he's certainly done well there for a number of elections. Yeah. Anyway, Tony, I appreciate this, sir. Anything else before we go?
No, that's about it. Anyways, when it comes to provincial, I still think the PCs will turn it at the end of the day.
Here in the province?
Yeah, and I think I will leave you.
Do you think the P3 situation is going to help many?
I think I can't see it hurting them. I really can't, because when you look at it,
well, they don't need things that are not going to hurt them. They need things that are going to help them, and in a hurry.
I think it will hurt. I think it will help them a big time. When you look at the other ones, nobody's saying nothing, and as they're saying, you got people who are saying absolutely nothing. They're the ones you got to worry about, and because people are not saying nothing, is not going to do anything. They're saying that we can't afford to buy bill anything. So we got 250 beds tied up in this province that could be open to people that go in and have surgeries. Now, these 360 beds that they're going to put in, that's going to open up all the surgeries and speed up everything 3 times as faster than it was before. So, to me, it's a win-win situation all the way around.
Explain it to me. How is that going to open up surgery? The problem
right now we got 250 beds tied up from seniors that is holding up beds right now.
But the problem with the availability of surgery is the availability of surgeons.
But a lot of it also, too, is the bed is tied up. And now, like I said, well, Steve Campbell will have to explain it better than that, to be better than I can, but it's going to open up beds. I've heard them say that before. They got beds tied up and they can't get people in there for the surgeries. But at the same time, when you're talking about recruits, and I hear somebody on there saying about, you can talk about they're saying they're doing a bad job recruiting. Or I hear people saying, not very many now, some, but we're actually recruiting over 200 doctors. But the government's not out saying it, but they have. There's 2 doctors moved in here in my area.
It's getting them here and it's keeping them here, right?
Well, it's competitive all over the world now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why it's so competitive. Not only us. And whatever government enters is going to find the same situation. That there's not. Everybody's after doctors and nurses and everything else, and they can go anywhere they want to and work. So, and this is why it's so hard. Then sometimes to get a doctor in rural areas because they go over so long, then they'll move out of it.
All right, Tony, I got to run, man. I appreciate your call, and we'll talk to you again.
You have a great week.
All right, bye-bye.